Good afternoon and welcome to this learning video. I'm going to talk about a software application in Microsoft called Visio. Visio has lots of uses to it. The one that I'm going to talk about here in this video is about creating an office layout diagram. So what I did was I went into the Visio program, and when I click New, there are templates to choose from, and this one is called Office Layout. So when I read what it says, this is what I want to indeed do. I will click Create, and the Visio application window comes up on my screen, of which you can see a blank canvas in the middle, and on the left-hand side are a group of stencils that we can click and drag onto the canvas area here. So what I'm first going to start off with is going to go to the walls, doors, and windows stencil. I'm going to grab this room object and drag it onto the canvas. And you will see that it gives me the measurements. It's an 8 by 10 room, and I can stretch it out if I want to. I can move it. I can stretch it out by going into the area here called Size and Position and change the width and the height right here. Now, how did I get this little window to appear? I will show you that. It is on the View tab, and there's a button called Task Panes, and one of the task panes that I can toggle on is called Size and Position. There it is. And if you wanted to lock it in and keep it there all the time, there's a little push pin button as well. And then I can just simply type in my different measurements if I wanted to. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to now add a door. So I can drag the door stencil shape anywhere I would like, and notice when I let go of the mouse it kind of snaps into place along the edge. And I can move it up and down. I can even make the door swing in and out from the inside out, vice versa. And there's my door. Now I want to add some brightness to the room by adding some windows. And what I'll just do is basically the same thing. I'll put windows on all 4 edges. And now, after I have the window, I can also size the windows. I can just click and drag to make it smaller, like that. Or I can also make sure that I have the size and position pane open with the object selected. You can see 1 foot 9 inches here, 1 foot 9 inches here. And if I click on the other windows, you'll see that it also has reflected the measurement as well. All right, so now it's shaping up a little bit. Got a door, some windows. Now we're going to add some furniture. So what I basically did, I went to the office furniture stencil, grabbed the table, dragged it in, selected it, did a Control-C for copy, and then pasted it 3 times and moved it around so that it is laid out like this in the room. Now the only thing missing with the tables are the chairs. So what I did was I created a chair, copied and pasted it once. Now I have 2 chairs side by side, exactly the location I want as well as the size. I selected them both because now I want to group them together and be treated as one object instead of 2. So with the object selected, I go to the Home tab, and there's the Group button right here. I click on Group button, and now it's grouped, which means when I do a copy and paste, it'll take both of them at the same time. When you're trying to precisely place an object onto your diagram, you don't have to play around with the mouse to do it. With the object selected, you can use the cursor keys. For example, I'm going to press the right arrow key a couple times and watch how the chairs move slightly. See how they're moving? I'm doing that with the keyboard instead of the mouse. Same thing with this one here. I want to move it down a little bit further away from the table. And that's just perfect right there. Now maybe I want to add a little bit of flavor to the room. I went to the Office Accessories stencil set, and I'm going to bring in a palm plant tree. Place it into the corner like that. It was that easy. Add a little bit of flavor. Now what I want to show you is down here I'm on page 1. but I can duplicate this page for perhaps a different office in the company and then tailor it to my own needs for that particular room. First of all, what I can do is I can double click and rename the room, which is what I just did. And then when I right click on that tab down here, I can choose duplicate. And now I have a duplicate room, or office I should say, in my file. Now I can rename that and call it conference room number 2. And then I can make my necessary changes for that as well. So what if I want to change the colors of the tables here in my diagram? What I would do is I would click on the first one, hold down the shift key, and then when I click on the second one, watch what Visio does. It just selects each one. Notice the chairs are not included inside the middle of this framed area, because now when I go onto the Home tab over here, there's the Fill button. I can change to the color that I want, and notice it's only changing the colors of the tables and not anything else. Pretty easy, huh? Now I can override those individual changes and come up with my own theme, because I went to the Design tab and there's this Themes group of which I can choose from a variety of different types of themes that I can use for my office. And then when I change it, I also have the option of choosing the Variants group, of which there are numerous types of changes that I can make. Colors, effects, connectors, embellishment. Alright, so let me just choose one of these different color effects. And then if I want to add a little bit of extra pizzazz to my diagram here, on the Design tab there is a group called Backgrounds. And I click on the Backgrounds button, and Microsoft Visio gives me a variety of different backgrounds that I can choose from. Let's see what it looks like when I add that one. Pretty professional, huh? What I'm now going to do is add text. As you can see, I have inserted some text to identify each of the tables. I did that by going to the Insert tab, clicking on the text box button, clicking and dragging a box, and just simply typing inside the box. It's that easy. Now, if I want to format the text, I can do that as well. And to do that, all I have to do is double click on the text, go to the Home tab and choose a color, a font, other styles of my choice, and then the text will be automatically updated, as you can see right here. I'll turn on bold, and then I'll turn on bold for these. You can see it's becoming bolded, and that was pretty easy. And I can also change the font if I wanted to as well. Okay. Now, what if some objects that you've placed on your diagram are not aligned exactly the way you want them? Can I fix that? Absolutely. So you can see here, one of the tables is not aligned with the one next to it. So I'm going to click on the first one. I'm going to hold down the Shift key, click on the second one, and on the Home tab is the Align button in the Arrange group. So I click on the Align button, and depending on how I want to align these objects will determine which command that I choose. So in this case, I want to move the one that's on the left down a little bit, so I will choose Align Bottom, and you'll see what happened is that it actually moved to line up. Okay, now what if I want to add a title up at the top of this page here? Can I do that? Yes. On the Design tab, there's a button called Borders and Titles, of which I have a variety of different styles to choose from, as you can see. I'll just randomly choose this one right here, and right there at the very top, I've got my border with the title that I can just modify. And if you want to remove the border or title that you added, you just go up to the Borders and Titles button again, and at the very top it will say no borders and title, and it is gone. Just also, you can notice I added a telephone to each of the tables as well. I found that in the office equipment stencil, as you can see over here. As well as telephones, there are printers, PCs, scanners. There's even a fax machine, notebook PC, computer terminals, hubs, a copier, light switches, electrical switches, telephone jacks, computer mouse, projection screen, and so forth. So your office can be as updated as you see fit. Visio also gives you the capability of viewing your diagram in presentation mode as if it was a PowerPoint presentation. I went to the View tab and then I clicked Presentation Mode. And now you can see what's happening is it's taking up the entire screen. While this is not meant to be a PowerPoint presentation, you can at least view your diagram as a full screen option, and then you can simply either import it or copy and paste it into a PowerPoint presentation as well. To get out of this mode, I just simply press the Escape key. Now, you have to be careful. Oftentimes, when we're working in Microsoft applications, we use the mouse wheel to roll up and down. But in Visio, watch what happens when I roll the mouse wheel. What it does is instead it zooms in and zooms out. So just be careful with that. So if I want to navigate up and down, I will indeed use the vertical scroll bar on the right hand side of the screen, as you can see there. Now, the last thing I want to show you in this learning video is when you go to the View tab, there is something called Grid and Guides. When I turn on the grid, you see a background grid. Now, the tiny squares are very close to each other. You can use that for alignment, but oftentimes we'll use the ruler for alignment because the ruler is showing both vertically on the left side as well as horizontally at the top, and you can line things up based on the measurement of the ruler. Well, did you know that there's also something called guides? And it says turn on guides that help us align objects in our document. Guides are dragged out from the rulers. Okay, so if we didn't read that little explanation under the guides button, we may not know what to do right here because it's not telling me what to do. So like I said, I can drag the ruler and create a guide exactly where I want it to be. And you can see what happens when I let go. It's very visually easy to see. So that could be another excellent source of lining up your objects on your diagram. Stay tuned. I have numerous ways of creating a variety of different diagrams. Just keep in mind that when you go to the File New command, you've got all of these different templates to choose from. Now, there aren't many right here on the main page, but all I have to do is click on one of these search option templates. For example, I'll click on floor plans. All of a sudden, my screen refreshes, and I have a handful of different floor plans to choose from. I can click the back button. I can click on flowcharts. And these are a variety of different flowcharts that I can create in Visio. And I'll just choose one more. Let's say if I want to go to education. There's a couple of them there. Or let's say when I go to database, I have several other templates to choose from. And again, the reason I'm showing this is so many times I see people waste their time creating these diagrams from scratch. Well, haven't we heard of the phrase, why reinvent the wheel when you don't have to? Microsoft gives us these templates. So let me say, for example, here, I want to choose the database template called UML communication. The template that I chose has given me the blank canvas, which I expect. What's different here are the stencils on the left-hand side. For example, there is a specific stencil called UML communication, of which it has a variety of different stencil shapes that I can choose from, as well as quick shapes. Now, with more shapes, that is visible in any template that you choose, because then I can break it down into some further categories. So if I'm working in a database template, perhaps I'll want to go to also network to see some of the other types of stencils that I can choose from. For example, I'll choose computers and monitors. Now all of a sudden I see shapes in the computers and monitors stencil that can deal with my main theme of database. So that's what I wanted to leave you with, to let you know that it is very powerful when we work in a variety of different templates that will save us a lot of time and effort to create our end project. All right, this is Tom. Tom the Trainer. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for some additional Visio videos as well as other Microsoft Office videos as well. Have a great day.